Welcome, everyone. This is thrilling. This is our second of my summer clarity series, second call. And my energy is like, wow, you're here and we get to do this, my favorite thing. So this is going to be all about checking in on ourselves. And my first call was really about getting clear for the summer. And that was kind of very specific about the next several months. But this one is a little different. It's more of a sort of a broad survey of life and the ways that we're relating to ourselves mainly. So we're going to do a little looking back and noticing and appreciating kind of where we've been. And then, oh, Luciana, mute. Okay. And then we're going to sort of get present to here and now and really consider life in July of 2023. Where are you? What's now? And then we're going to do a little looking ahead. I love dreaming. I've had an amazing couple of decades now of really paying attention to like what's calling me forward. What do I want to be giving my energy to? How do I want to be feeling and what do I want to be experiencing? And my goodness, has that been valuable? So that is something that I am really knowing in my heart and gut, not just up here in my thinking, but in my emotional well-being and in my gut knowing, my soul knowing is that when I take time to really check in and clarify and replenish myself. That's what I'm intending for today, is to offer all of us, myself and you all, an opportunity to just bring a little self-awareness, just take a pause, settle in, and really open up to some parts of ourselves that maybe don't get as much time and attention as the rest of our lives and all the out there. So this is about coming in here, coming inward, and then replenishment. You know, this is a deep dive, but with the intention of adding energy, because there's so much that takes energy and we need to be giving our energy to. I want this experience to be additive, to give you a little lift, a boost, a reset. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I am going to settle us in. So yeah, let me give you a little bit overview of the 90 minutes. So this is just 90 minutes. It's the amount of time you might take to watch a movie. It's not that long, but it's enough that it'll get us in there. So first I'm going to settle us in and we'll just do a nice, easy get present. And then we're going to just be writing. This is really about giving ourselves, all of us, the time and attention of just listening, and the power of the pen, as somebody said to me recently, that when we consider life in our heads, we hear some things, but what I know very deeply is when I put the pen to paper, I often hear things that I didn't know were in there, or I needed to hear a little differently. So that is what we are doing with our time. I'm not going to be saying too much. I'm really just going to be feeding us all prompts and keeping us moving. So one more little bit, I'll give us the big main. So the three main categories: where have I been? Where am I now? Where am I going? Give you the big categories. And then I'm going to run us through some prompts that are shorter duration, but it'll hopefully help you excavate. And the thing that I always love to say anytime I do a call like this is all for you to get what you need. So I'm going to share my prompts, the ones that help me excavate and get a little more clear. If my prompt isn't doing it for you, then go on your own adventure, but use this time as a way to really hear yourself. So if what I share is valuable to you, great. But if it doesn't quite hit it, let it go and go on your own adventure. Choose your own adventure. Okay, that's kind of the gist of what I have to say. Now, go ahead and turn your cameras off. I'm even going to turn mine off. And we're just going to do a really gentle settling in here. All right. And I'm so glad you're here. And I'm really, really honored that you took this time, because I know time is precious. And so for you to take this time and play with me and come and give yourself a little bit of space and attention really is quite meaningful. So thank you, because I know it isn't always easy to step away. So again, welcome. And what I will invite you right now is just look around, just take in the moment. Notice where you are and what you're amidst. Really use your sense of sight to look at what is in front of you, around you, next to you, behind you. Now I'm going to invite you just to take a breath. And let your eyes gently close. And take another breath. And just relax your shoulders. And release your jaw. Move it around a little bit if you need to. And soften your eyes and your forehead. And just invite lightening and loosening. You might loosen your neck a little bit and move your head around a little bit. Just gently stretch. And take another breath. And on the exhale, just let your arms hang. Imagine tension just dripping out through your fingertips. Really open up your hands. Maybe tighten and release, and really see if you can let go. And now with another breath in, bring your awareness down into your heart. Really settling into your heart space, just imagining that whole area, your lungs, your heart, your chest, your throat. Just becoming a little bit more aware of that space. Just noticing, are there stirrings or swirlings or any patterns that you notice? What's the emotional weather in there? Just take a moment to be with yourself. The energy in motion, the emotions, just being with. And if you can, just see if you can sense your heartbeat, your pulse, the rhythm of your amazing heart that beats without you doing one thing. And just imagine that you're taking a deep breath in and giving all that good oxygen to your heart. And on the exhale, just inviting a little more opening, a little more space, a little more love. Something so clear and present about being with our hearts. And when you notice yourself thinking, just gently bring yourself back down to your breath and your heart. And invite a little more opening and a little more compassion, just opening with love and compassion. Now, with another breath, really appreciate that heart space, that heart muscle, that heart energy. Invite a little deeper dropping down now into our gut. Come into that space of your gut, that solar plexus, that place where our knowing resides. Take a nice, deep, slow breath in and really let that oxygen fill up your abdomen. Just imagine that You're allowing your whole abdomen to fill up. Really sense the air as it comes in through your nose and really fills you up as a sense of replenishment, like a way of giving yourself some energy. Just a nice, deep, slow breath in and out. Invite a little more lightening and loosening, releasing your arms and your shoulders and your abdomen and your bottom. Just release your butt and your pelvis muscles. And taking another nice deep breath and really imagining that oxygen is coming in through your nose, going all the way down your throat, down through your center, your abdomen, your pelvis, your legs, just filling up all the way down to the tips of your toes. And on that exhale, really let go and let yourself start wiggling and moving a little bit. Stretching your arms above your head. Pulling your arms back a little bit. All right. Coming on back gently, bringing all of you with you. And just taking a moment and let's do a quick setting an intention for ourselves. So, welcome. It's good to see you. I'm really happy you're all here. And I want to start by just setting an intention. So my intention for this call is, that's the prompt. Write it down. And the way this will work is I'll say the prompt. I'll invite you to write it. And then I'm going to say a couple words about it just to give you a little clarification. And then I'll say, all right, let's go. And I'll tell you how much time we're going to spend on it. And they're going to be short bursts. So if that works for you, great, stick with me. And if you need something else, mute me and do your thing. Because I'm here just to offer you the prompt is, my intention for this call is. And what I mean by that is, what do you hope to leave with? What do you want to be feeling at the end of this experience? And we're just playing. So if this is new to you, just put the pen to paper and see what comes. There's no right answer. And if you're a veteran, great, dive in and go deep. So I'm just going to do a minute and a half on that. It's a really short one. So my intention for this call is a minute and a half, go. How do I want to feel at the end of this? All right. So that was just getting us loosened up and a little bit clearer. It's so easy to step into life without setting intentions. And what I've come to know over my 52 years, especially the last maybe 20 since I started doing more of this, more clarity writing, um, is that it's always worth it when I stop and give myself a moment to pause, which we did, and then set an intention for how I want to meet the moments, how I want to show up for whatever I'm heading into, whether it's something like this or just the day in general, or a new project or a challenge that I'm up against. I have come to know deeply that by taking just a little bit of a moment to pause and set an intention, always worth it. So, um, let me just say a little bit about what we're going to do here, and then we'll get to it. So, this is time for ourselves. I'm inviting you to join me for the thing that I would be doing anyway today, which is taking a little time before my 52nd birthday on Monday to really consider life, the bigger picture of life, not this particular season of summer 2023, but the season of, middle age. Um, and so I'm going to invite you to do the same. Let yourself come in for a landing, really be here and hear, HEAR, what your heart and soul want to share with you. I think we spend a lot of time up in our heads. And when I can offer myself and others a little bit of space and a little bit of guidance to hear something new, something different, or something that but maybe just doesn't get as much airtime, it's worth it. And we'll be here for another hour doing this. So we just did our settle. Now I want to turn our attention toward, where have I been? That's my question for me, and that's the question I want you to ask yourselves. And what I'm going to do is pick a specific amount of time that I want to sort of consider. So it could be the past 6 months. Here we are halfway into 2023. So if that feels like, I really want to consider these first 6 months of this year, great, use that time frame. If you want to go a little broader and do the full year, do that. If you want to do 3 years, so 3 years is pretty significant for us right now. It's been 3 years since we were really in the thick of COVID, and a lot has unfolded. So we've been out of it for a reasonable amount of time for the most part at this point. So maybe it's 3 years that you want to consider. I'm a big fan of 7 years. So if you really want to push it and give it a little broader awareness, pick 7. But go ahead and take a moment and just really feel into, what's the amount of time I want to consider when I'm looking back? What feels like, that feels like a nice amount. So if you don't know, I would say pick 6 months or a year. If you feel like, no, I want to go a little bigger than that, go a little bigger than that. So that's the frame I want you to put it. So basically, we're asking, where have I been? And the first question is, when I consider, here, I'm going to write this in the chat. When I consider the past, and then however long, months or years you choose, and then the rest of it will be, I'll feed you these prompts. The first one is, what's been meaningful? So what I mean by that is, when you look back and you consider the chunk of time that you're considering, what's been meaningful? Just, that's the question. Think about your relationship with yourself. Think about the relationships you have with other people. Think about the life you're living, the work you're doing, where you're investing your energy. What would you say has been meaningful? And we're going to take 3 minutes for that. And then there'll be some more questions that'll excavate, but this is our first one. So what's been meaningful? 3 minutes, see what comes. All right. Somebody asked, meaningful in a good way or a bad way, change of life with death and spouse. I would say, Claire, my heart to you and all of it. That's why I use the word meaningful. It's really what's been significant for you in your own life. And that is often births and deaths and big life. We're all living it. So that's whatever you categorize as meaningful, write it down. Next is, what have I learned about myself? So when you consider that chunk of time, I'm using a year. That's what feels good to me right now. What have I learned? So that's, there's a lot that you're learning all the time about yourself, about your people. So when you really step out of the thoughts and come into your heart with a lot of love and deep compassion, what would you say you've learned about yourself? So the prompt is, what have I learned about myself? And I'm going to set the timer for 3.5 minutes for that one. I just realized I want a little more time for these, so you might too. When I consider, however long you're considering, what have I learned about myself? Go. All right, wrap that one up. Take another few seconds if you need it. I'll just share the last one that came through for me, which feels like my biggest learning of many, many years, but most specifically this past year. It's that when I pause and check in and really be with myself, it's always worth it. And so I do that. I do that on a daily, little bits daily. I do that weekly. And now I'm going to do it monthly going forward, like this. And I hope you'll join me, because this is something that really allows me to come back to myself and find that clarity. So, yay me. I'm happy that I'm aware of that because it really does feel useful. All right. So the next one is, what are ways of being with myself and my people that I really value? So when I consider this past X amount of time, like I said, for me, I'm looking at a year. What are ways of being with myself and my most important people that I really value? So let's put that down and see where it takes us. I'm going to say with myself and my most important people. And so just as examples, so the prompt is, what are ways of being with myself and my most important people, whoever that is for you, that I really value? So when you think about your experiences of caring for you and caring for and with your others, what do you value? What do you value about the experiences that you have? So 3.5 minutes. Let's see where that takes us. What are ways of being with myself and my most important people that I value? All right. So let's wrap that one up with what do I appreciate about my life from these past however long you're considering. So write that one down. And if you're just joining us, the prompts that we are just jump in with me. So this prompt that we're doing right now is we've been looking back, and the question is the prompt right now is, what do I appreciate about my life from these past however long you're considering? I'm doing a year, so from these past 12 months. If you're doing 6 months, however, what are you appreciating from the past 6 months? If you're doing 3 years, what are you appreciating? Just what do you want to give a little, what do you want to take note of? What am I appreciating? Or what do
Tenemos
I
la cena, se lo
appreciate
dije,
about
todos
my
estaban
life
aquí.
from these past however long you're considering? So let's do 3.5 minutes on that. And just either write yourself a little letter or make a list. What are you, I'm appreciating ... All right, wrap that one up. Take another few seconds and see if there's anything you're wanting to say before we move on. All right, so thank you. Past, now we're going to bring ourselves into the present and really consider where are we now. So the heading now, Act 2, is where am I now? So we're just going to orient with, kind of a real gist of it all. So how old am I? So write down your age. So where am I now is the new category. Where am I here and now? And so what's my age? And what season of life am I in? And I mean that in both the season, summer 2023, and also the bigger season of life that you're in. Maybe you're raising small children. Maybe you have growing people that are moving on into their own adulthood. Maybe you are retiring. I mean, there's whatever season, just let's name it. Let's describe it. So how old am I and what season of life am I in? And actually, I'll say that a little differently. How old am I and how would I describe the season of life I'm in? See where that takes you. Let's do 3 minutes on that one. All right, let's go a little deeper into this one. What do I value? So when I think about life here and now, what are the things that that are meaningful? What do I value? What is meaningful? Can do those two together. And that's things, ways you want to be feeling, experiences that you're having, places that you're giving your energy. And we'll go a little deeper into that. But when you think about your life here and now in 2023, what is it that you value? What's significant? What's meaningful? Let's see where that goes. We'll do 3.5 for that one. All right. What do I value? What is most meaningful? All right. And this one is what requires my energy. So in this phase of life, what is requiring your energy? It's an important question to consider. Remembering yourself, that you require your energy too. So what requires my energy? And think of all the different, so it might be your home, it might be your work, your people. Really consider not just what gets your energy, but what requires it, and just see what comes through. All right. Keeping us moving. And then the next is what replenishes my energy. So with regard to the season that I'm in here and now, what do I know adds energy? We are not perpetual motion machines. We need to source and resource ourselves. So what replenishes my energy? You can think of things that are physical, spiritual, emotional, creative, social. Just make a big list of what replenishes my energy. 3.5 minutes. Actually, take 4 for that. What replenishes my energy? All right, then let's just do a 2-minute wrap up of the here and now. with what do I appreciate about my life here and now? What do I appreciate about my life here and now? 2 minutes. All right, beautiful. Just take a breath. It's a lot of considering. We're going to turn our attentions forward. So where am I heading? So act 3, where am I heading? And the first prompt is one of my favorites. What's calling me forward? So as you look ahead, what's tapping you on the shoulder and asking you for some attention? What's what's calling me forward? Let's see where that takes you. And I'm going to give that one 3.5. And actually, before you do anything, I'm going to ask you to also pick another chunk of time. So whether it's 6 months, so the rest of this year, or 1 year, so between now and next July, or the next 3 years, time is going to go. And what do you want to be aware of? What is inviting you to come toward it? You could even think about it as a 7-year cycle. So what's calling me forward as I look upon the next chunk of time? Go 3.5 minutes. All right, wrap that one up. And now we're going to take this one just a smidge deeper. And the prompt is, what thrills me and gives me a sense of deep aliveness? So what, oh, I didn't ever post what's calling me forward. What's calling me forward was the last one. And then when you look forward, what thrills me and gives me a sense of deep aliveness? So what is uplifting when you consider it, when you consider giving energy to something, when you survey all the various places, your relationships, your work in the world, your passions, your hobbies, your physicality, creativity, all of it, what thrills you? What sizzles? What gives you a little bubbly feeling, and really allows you to feel that sense of like, this is it. This is what it is to be alive. So, what thrills me and gives me a sense of deep aliveness? And it can be really little things like a pause or an appreciation or a snack. And it can be really grand things like a project that you might be embarking on, or a way of connecting with people that you love that you haven't really moved into yet. So be open to all of it. I'm going to actually give us 4 minutes on that one. What thrills me and gives me a sense of deep aliveness? 4 minutes. And now we're coming into the home stretch, but what feelings, hold on, how did I write this? This is one of my favorite questions. And the question is, hold on, what feelings, what feeling experiences, what states of being, we'll just call them feelings, do I want to feel more of? So what I've come to know in my life is that what feelings do I want to feel more of? Is that when I'm nourished, when I have enough resource in myself, I can often choose an energetic state. I can be more aware of wanting to tap into something. So one of my biggies is appreciating. And the ways that I access that are by going on a walk and just saying a lot of the things that I notice. And that brings me into a state of appreciating. I sometimes and often daily do that through writing. I'll just put pen to paper and make a list of things I'm appreciating. And that's all in service to getting myself into a state, an energetic state, an emotional state that I like experiencing. So that's the question. What feeling or emotional state or way of being do I want to feel more of? What do I want to be practicing so that I'm aware of accessing it more and more? It doesn't mean I access it every moment. In fact, I don't. I have to pop myself into it. But the more I do practice it, the more I seem to tap into it. And then when I'm not there, I'm just with what I am feeling. So it's not about only feeling the good stuff where that's not possible. That's not my shtick. That's not what I'm interested in encouraging. But I am very interested in this idea of encouraging myself and others to practice tuning in when we can to states of being that really do feel more aligned and more of what we want. So what are those? What feelings do I want to feel more of? Let's go 3 minutes on that. See where it takes us. What feeling states do I want to feel more of in these next X amount of months or years? All right. So coming to the close of this piece, but I want to make it a little more practical. So I'm going to pick three of the ways I want to feel the tippy top. So I'll just share for me, deeper, lighter, and more compassionate. So those are the three that I'm going to put in this little exercise now. And the question is, what can I do? What are the things I know to do that might even take 10 seconds? They might take a minute. They could take 10 minutes. They could take a day. But what are the ways I can evoke those feelings in myself, in my now? So I know that I want to feel more compassion for myself and for others. So how can I practice that? What's going to be the thing that I could do daily-ish, let's say, that would evoke that sense of compassion? And for me, it could be just taking a pause and really like feeling my heart, like dropping out of my thoughts and just putting my hands on my heart and inviting that sense of compassion, that sense of like, wow, look at what it is to be a human. Look at my own humanness and look at how all these people I love are doing their humanhood, and look at the world in general. And wow, like if I can feel that sense of compassion, there seems to be something that opens inside of me. So I want to practice more of that. It might be appreciative. So if that's yours, what would you do that might take 1 second? Oh, I'm just going to look outside and appreciate something. Or I'm going to appreciate something about myself and each family member once a day. Or I'm going to make a list of my age and write those down every day. Whatever it is, you decide, and keep it small, because the goal is just to access that feeling. And if you put too big of a if you make it too big, it's more than likely that you might not do it. But if you make it really teeny tiny, and then you do a little woohoo after you do it, you're going to probably keep doing it. And that's the work. That's the practice. The ways we want to feel more of, we need to cultivate the practice. So finding the micros and doing a little sip each day, or as often as you can remember to do it, that will move you in that direction. And if you're taking and playing a long game, which I hope you are, I am, I'm going to really invest into being more thoughtful about some of these practices, and specifically doing a monthly check-in like this, a monthly clarity call, which I hope you'll want to join me. I'll start it in September and I'll tell you all about it this summer. So for now, let's just stay present. What evokes those feelings that I want to feel more of here and now? Let's write that down, and then I will wrap us up. What evokes more of those feelings here and now? So pick 1, 2, or 3. We're going to take about 3 minutes on this. And if you have to leave, I appreciate that you were here so much, and I hope this was valuable. And if you can stick around, great. And I will really do my best to wrap us up right after this. So 3 minutes, pick 1, 2, or 3 feelings that you want to bring into your awareness more, as they feel as if they're calling you forward, and ask yourself, how can I tap into those regularly? How can I gain experience of feeling that in the here and now? Let's see where it takes us. All right. So I know some of you have to leave, and I so appreciate that you've been here. If you do have 3 more minutes, I want to do one more little writing that hopefully will tie it all together. And again, if you do need to go, thank you. I'm so grateful. And I will be in touch with more. And we will do this again on August 12th. So put it on your calendar and I will remind you. But I'm loving this series and I'm loving that you're taking this time with me. So thank you. All right, last one. What's the kindest and most loving letter I can write to myself right now? And I know we're going to do 3 minutes together, but at least it'll get you started. And you could consider what you just did and how you are aware of where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. Or you can just write yourself a little love note and keep it with you as a little gift to yourself. So my instruction is write the kindest and most loving letter I can write to myself right now. And I'm just going to start with Dear Me and see where it takes me. So, Dear Me, ... See where it takes us. 3 minutes, and then we'll be done. The kindest, most compassionate letter I can write to myself. Dear Me. All right, wrap that one up. Take about 30 more seconds. All right. We did it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined me for this. And I know we went a little bit quickly through the prompts. It's always a fun experience to figure out how to do the timing. So we played with this today, and next time we'll experiment with something else. But I just want to say thank you all for being here and for sticking around and for doing this with me, and for bringing in my new year, because this is what I'm realizing is exactly how I like to do a birthday approach, is really go inward and hear myself. And so I got to do that with all of you. Yay. Thank you. So I'm going to let that be it for now. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It's so nice to have you all here. And there's more. So like I said, we're going to do one more on August 12th. And then after that, I'm kicking off something new, Clarity with Carrie. And there will be a monthly call like this. That's all. And a seasonal booklet, not this, but there'll be a little guidebook that you'll receive in the mail. And I'm keeping it nice and simple, but really useful and valuable. So thank you. Indulge me with 1 minute if you can, of just sitting and being with ourselves as we really take a moment to appreciate what we just did. So 1 minute of just being present, if you can spare it. I'll start it and be quiet. So just take a breath. Lighten and loosen. Appreciate what you just did for yourself. And check in on that intention that you set for yourself at the beginning of the call, and just notice where you are. And on that, I will send you off into the day. And I am so deeply grateful, and I feel enlivened and really excited for what's to come. So thank you. And I will see you next month, and have a beautiful month. And if you want to share anything with me, send me an email. I happily receive all communications, and sending you so much love. Thank you. Bye.